We've got some reunion drama from the secret lives of Mormon wives. We may need Andy Cohen to come and host a White House reunion with Elon Musk and Donald Trump. Seems like Trump's going to need to find himself a new rocket man. Kim Jong-un better get his resume ready. We have Georgio Says on the show today with lots of reality tea to be spilled. I hope you're ready for it. Let's dive. You're listening to No Filter with Zack Peter, your go-to source for all the latest pop culture and reality TV tea, served fresh all week long. Now, let's dive in. What's up, guys? Welcome on in. Welcome on in. Welcome on in. Happy, what's today? Oh, it's Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. If you missed it, be sure to catch my episodes with Colonel Kurtz, Billy Bush. Daniel Feruzin was on the podcast yesterday, spilling all sorts of legal tea on the Blake Lively case. So be sure to tune in for all of that. And if you have not done so yet, everybody, please go and get your tickets to the Zactivated Tour. We're kicking things off July 11th. It is the final countdown. July 11th, we're kicking things off in Dallas. July 13th, we'll be in Phoenix. July 23rd, I'll be in Philly. July 24th, I'll be in Toronto. July 26th, I'll be in New York. July 27th, I'll be in Chicago. And August 8th, I'll be in Seattle. We wrap things up August 10th in Los Angeles. Lots more special guests that'll be announced over the weekend. So be sure to follow, like, subscribe, do all the things. Subscribe on YouTube, follow at Just Plain Zack, or you can follow the podcast at No Filter with Zack on the Instagram. But get your tickets now at nofilterlive.com. Go to nofilterlive.com and get your tour tickets. It's going to be a wet, hot summer. It's going to be fun. It's going to be so yummy. We have lots more Blake and Baldoni tea that's going to be spilled. We have lots of royalty that's going to be spilled. Apparently, we have some tea on Paul Feig that the Sidley twins plan on spilling in Seattle. So there's just a whole lot of goodness. But I'm excited because I feel like the Philly show is going to be a lot of fun. So I'm coming to Philly on July 23rd. And alongside me on stage will be Georgio Says and the Brav Bros. Steel, Shooter, and Georgio will be joining me on stage in Philly with a very special guest. And without further ado, I feel like I should welcome on today's special guest, and that is the one and only my friend, Mr. Georgio Says.
Hi, happy Friday.
Happy Friday. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's 85 degrees. The sun is out. Burned some calories. Got some tea.
So much tea. But before we get into any of like the reality tea, what has been your reaction to all of this Elon Musk Trump drama that's been playing out on X? I'm like, what in the Real Housewives? Like, who gave Brandy Glanville her phone back? Like, what is happening?
I was like, this looks like a trailer for a season of some type of Housewives with the receipts and the tweets it was insane. The latter part of my day was very entertaining. It was
I
inundated.
know. I know I was running around all yesterday, and then next thing you know it, I'm like, why are people going off about Elon? And then I look online, I'm like, what is happening? I was like, what? We need we're
We need
gonna
a
need
reunion.
the Bravo PR team to come and silence everybody. You know, the second the housewives start fighting on Twitter, suddenly the PR comes in, they shut down all the interviews, everybody's put on a press hold. I was like, that's what we need to do here. This is wild. I think what was it? So Elon's mad at Trump about the spending bill. He says that he's like not really cutting spending after all, and then Trump's like, you're just mad because I am not putting in the mandate on electric vehicles, and I don't even know what they're fighting. And then now Elon says that the real tea is that Trump is in the Epstein files, and that's why they haven't been released.
That's
Like,
such a Housewives thing to say, though.
right?
It's
Like,
like
just like it's a very Brandy Glanville. Like, let me just go for the lowest thing. You haven't changed your hair in 20 years. Like, let me just do the one random, like, big move that's going to shock everybody. And I was like, I don't even know if there's any, like, does Elon know this? And if he did know this, then why was he working with Trump and bringing his kids around him? And then if Elon didn't know this, then is he just trying to have a moment for the cameras right now? Because, like, the other thing is, like, I think if Trump really was very incriminated in the Epstein files, like, that would have come out. Like, the last 4 years, he's faced a lot of litigation, and the worst that they've gotten on him is the Stormy Daniels hush money case. That I'm like, if they had him on Epstein Island, that I feel like that would have come out by now.
well, I think there would have been a very, very strong push to put that out there specifically during election time, right?
Yeah.
Because that would have been the perfect kill.
Yeah, that would have been the kill shot. That would have immediately ended him.
Mm-hmm.
Kamala could have, sipped on her whiskey all the way to the White House in that case. They would have just ended him with a little Epstein drop and it would have been done. Done deal. I don't know.
Epstein comes
It
out
just
from the
looks
sides.
Elon. It makes Elon look so messy though. Like I low key kind of love it for the drama, but then at the same time, I'm also like, but what is happening? Like it's hilarious, but like embarrassing at the same time.
Well, it's really crazy that type of person has that amount of money in his account, and all these baby mothers out here, like there's two of them I think suing for like sole custody because they're like, you don't even see your kid anyway.
Yeah. What does one even have that many babies and then you pay off all the moms? Like that's crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Well, we couldn't not talk about it because it's the one thing everybody's been tweeting and memeing about all the last 24 hours. But we do have a lot of Mormon Wives tea. I feel like you and I have been following up all the Mormon Wives. Are you excited for the reunion? It was just announced that we're getting a Secret Lives of Mormon Wives reunion on Hulu hosted by Nick Viall. What was your reaction?
I'm excited. I thought this show definitely needs a reunion. I actually am not mad at Nick being the host, only because he has pretty much interviewed all of the cast and is so close to it that it, I guess, makes the most sense that he would host it. But I'm a little irked that Demi is not there because I feel like there's going to be a big hole in, you know what I mean? The whole
Yeah,
thing.
that's the
She's not
biggest.
going to be able
Yeah,
to speak up for herself.
I feel like the
So,
Demi is the biggest piece of it. But I know we have a lot to talk about with Demi because I have a lot of feelings about that. But the Nick Viall piece. So let me spill a little tea.
okay.
So obviously, season 1 for Mormon Wives, nobody really knew it was going to be a hit. It was kind of like a wild card. And I remember the PR team reaching out and trying to book interviews with the cast and trying to get them on podcasts. And nobody really wanted to book them. That was kind of the truth because it was such a new show. They were TikTokers. I don't think anybody expected the show to have the success that it did. I
Mhm.
happened to say yes, right? Like Bethany, I came from a place of yes. And I was like, you know what? Give it to me. And I ended up getting Whitney and Macy. Now, they never let the cast watch the show before they do any press tours because they don't want them to give away any spoilers or anything. But I always ask for screeners. So I got to watch the whole season before any of the cast did. But so whatever, I did my interview with Whitney and Macy, did really well because obviously I think that's when Whitney started to pick up on the fact that maybe she was the villain and she stopped doing press after that. She didn't do any more interviews until the show actually aired. So I was one of the only ones that got an interview with Whitney and then got her to open up about her husband's Tinder scandal and the TikTok scandal and her dancing in the hospital. And so had some moments that definitely had their virality. And then I remember just kind of seeing the potential in the show. I remember the producers were kind of like, we don't really know, like we're kind of taking a gamble. And so my team was trying to sell them on hosting a reunion for this show. Where like you have to kind of follow the Bravo model. And we were trying to pitch Hulu on doing the reunion. And they were kind of against it. They weren't down for the reunion, which is why I was even shocked to see them do a Vanderpump Villa reunion this year. But we were trying to sell them on the reunion, and we were also trying to sell them on letting me be the one to host the reunion and kind of letting me get the exclusives with the interview with the cast members and all of that sort of stuff. We were literally trying to pitch them and sell them on this reunion concept, and they were reluctant to it because they wanted to see the performance of the show first, right? And so then fast forward, here comes season 2. And once the show aired, it had its success. And I was pimping out the show left and right. Again, nobody really interviewed them prior to the show. They had done press, like, I think it was like several weeks ahead of the premiere. And so we had to hold our interviews until it was closer in because we were going based off of cast availability. Nobody knew the success that the show was going to ultimately take. Completely blew up. That's when people like Nick Viall and Taylor Lautner, the Taylor Lautners, they jumped in on it. Whitney ended up giving them they let Whitney do the Taylor Lautner podcast exclusive, which was a total bomb. I think that made Whitney look terrible. It didn't give us any tea. I was like, you should have given me that interview. I would have humanized her. It would have been fun. We could have had an opportunity to do it, but they went with the bigger name, which is going to be Taylor Lautner. Well, what a flop of a podcast that was. Didn't give us anything, and Whitney didn't come out of it very likable. Fast forward, then we come approaching season 2, and we again pick up the conversation about having a reunion for season 2. Hulu also still very reluctant, not fully sold on the idea. Somewhere at some point, Nick Viall sucks somebody's dick to get on top. That's a joke. I'm not saying that's not a literal thing. But what he does like to do, which I don't like, is because I was also supposed to have on Tom Sandoval on my podcast a few weeks ago, several weeks ago, right after Traders or around Traders time. And he'd committed, he had agreed, we had the studio ready to go. And then at the last minute, he texts me or he DMs me and he's just like, hey, I'm sorry, I can't do the show after all. Apparently, we had already agreed to give Nick Viall the interview, and he's not allowing us to do any other interviews outside of his or before his. And so that's what his team does. They have all these backdoor deals that they make with talent, with publicists, with networks. So that's how Nick Viall became the face of the Mormon Wives. He saw the success. His team, kind of strong armed their way in. And I get it. It also is a natural fit considering Nick Viall comes from The Bachelor, which comes from Disney and ABC. Hulu is a Disney company. So I get how it kind of is more of an organic cross promotion tie. Because I was talking to somebody yesterday and they're like, well, remember, Nick Viall has the Disney ties and all of this stuff. So I get it. I don't think he's that good of a host. If you're a good host, you don't need 15 co-hosts, and you also don't need your team to be doing all these back deal, handshake deals to block other shows from getting your interviews, because you need to be like, if you have a good enough show and you have a good enough interview, your show's going to be fine regardless of who else goes and doesn't. You just have to trust in your skill set and trust in your audience that you're going to actually do well with it.
Wow, I didn't know that at all. You kind of got, not kind of, it sounds like they took your idea and just gave it over to him.
Yeah, I mean, well, even so, the premiere party, he hosted the panel for that. And I remember we had asked if that was an opportunity. Because again, I'd interviewed the cast. And even now, I feel like I get scraps with my interviews. Like I had an interview with Jesse last year that ended up getting blocked, and then this year it was maybe going to come around again. I don't know. I keep trying to be so good to Hulu and be so good to the Mormon Wives because I really do love this show. I watch it. I trust myself as an interviewer, and I was just kind of annoyed at the Nick Viall of it again because I'm just like, I don't find him that interesting. And the reason Andy Cohen's so good at hosting reunions is because he's shady, he's fun, he knows how to be entertaining and charismatic himself. Whereas I feel like Nick Viall's just not that good at it.
It's just like someone's husband shooting the shit with, I don't know, it feels weird. I have to always skim through his interviews to it's like, I don't know, he doesn't have anything where I'm interested enough to be engaged.
I mean, clearly whatever deal that's been worked out, all the wives are now doing all of their exclusive interviews to promote the show as it's been airing. Whatever. Let him be the new face of the Mormon Wives.
I did see real quick. Someone did say yesterday they were advocating for Nick to take over Bravo reunions, and I was like, absolutely the F not. Do not do that, please, because that will. Yeah, no.
He's just not that interesting. You need someone with a little charisma. If anyone's going to take over Bravo, I've always said that it should be Danny Pellegrino.
I agree.
I think he's the only one that can kind of replace Andy at this point. But so the biggest thing from the reunion is this Demi hole, right? She's the only one that didn't show up. She had a rough season. It did not go very well with the other cast members. I heard that she has a reason that she's going to be putting out there. We haven't heard it announced yet, but that the real reason is because Britt didn't want her to do the reunion. I guess she looks bad, and I don't know what is going to come in the upcoming episodes, but more of the Marciano stuff. She's kind of hinted that there are some legal things that have now come up. Jen seems to have completely just outed that she kissed and sat on Marciano's lap. I don't know. I don't like when any wives, housewives, or other reality stars skip the reunion because it seems like they can't face the music. Do you think that Demi is skipping because she's afraid to face the heat?
Interesting question. I actually talked to someone with boots on the ground, and they gave me some context around this. And I'm 50-50, honestly, like on this theory or this, what I was told, which was essentially the reunion was scheduled and confirmed like way after the fact. No one was even thinking about it. And now to what you were just discussing kind of lines up a little bit because they seemed like they didn't want to do that at first, but then they went ahead and did it. Nonetheless, Demi had a trip planned already with her mom, and that was booked in, I guess, March. They planned for a May 3rd filming of the reunion. Demi and Brett asked for production to move dates, and word on the street was that they didn't, obviously, and that is the reason for why she was not there. So it could be a little bit of both. Like I could see it as like, well, yes, I didn't look great this season, right? And I also had this trip that was already planned. So, you know what I mean? But also, it could just be that that's what it was. And they did try to collaborate in a way to say, hey, can we just move this date so that it works where we can be there? Because my point has been, I agree. Like, I hate when they don't show up at the reunion because then it's like, I don't want to watch it because then there's a whole gap that we're not going to really get any answers to. So,
Yeah, I mean, listen, if Layla skipped the reunion, I wouldn't care, and we would all watch it and like not give a shit. But
no.
Demi is the center of that, so that's why I don't buy that production wasn't willing to bend for her because she's such a crucial part of the reunion that a scheduling conflict doesn't seem like the network would allow that to be the thing. Um, I don't know if I buy that I mean, it sounds like a convenient excuse to be like, "Oh, well, we're supposed to go on a trip somewhere."
Totally. But I also think that I don't
Where
know. There's stuff going on, it feels like, from what I have been hearing since the premiere of the show, where that's why in my initial recap, I said, I don't think Demi is the actual villain. I think that stuff has been ruffled. From what I understand, things have ruffled along the way, and there's a lot of context that is missing. And specifically when we get to Vanderpump Villa, that is where things get really seedy, and that's where you start to understand the level that, I'll say allegedly, production will go in order to flame something that may not have been something. So that, I think, plays into it when it comes to the situation. But I also feel like I agree. I think production would have been like, okay, so next week, the week after, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know though. So maybe they did that on purpose to be like, this works for the narrative. Like, oh, she didn't show up today. You know, like, I don't know. It could be.
Well, wouldn't she even want to be able to tell her side so she would prioritize Listen, if you and I were on an ensemble cast and there's the reunion and you're on one of the hottest shows right now on a streaming network, you're going to tell me I'm going to go and take my pre-planned trip and not try to call American Airlines to reschedule the flight and figure out some other accommodations to miss the reunion.
I think the difference is it's more around the fact that her mom was around the plan, and because her mom is not doing well health wise, they didn't want to risk losing more time. You're giving me the eyes. It's like,
because it's one day that I'm like, you can
totally
fit 24 hours into your schedule, or fly your mom out to wherever you're taping the reunion.
Yeah, I didn't even think to. I guess I should ask where they filmed it, because that would have, like, did they film it in Utah? Like, I don't know. Yeah, so that is why I heard the real reason as to why she didn't come. Now, again, I don't think, based on the narrative that is out there around Demi, that anyone's going to buy anything I just said. Because it sounds like, very convenient. And to your points about, like, you could have made it work. I'm sure production would have worked with you. But I don't know how production's maneuvering, because I've been hearing some things around that side of the fence too. That's very interesting. So
what have you heard about production?
um
Or like,
that
what's Demi's narrative? Like, what's her story in all of this?
So I think the issue is, and it kind of came up in the Entertainment Tonight panel interview that they did, but essentially I think the Vanderpump Villa is really the root of all of this. And I think from what I've understood and what I've been told, and again, this is all like alleged, but like once the Marciano of it all started happening, it started to look like an opportunity to another cast member for season 2. So, for instance, like
Jen.
Something happened with what Demi has basically alleged that she was basically sexually assaulted, and she didn't want it to be a thing. She doesn't want to be a victim, especially in this platform that she's in, and she didn't want that to, I guess, supersede everything else about her. So she, I guess, confided in the girls about it in a way that was like, I don't want this to be a thing, though. Like, I don't want this to blow up into a massive thing. And I guess from there, Jen locked it in like, oh, if she tries anything, then I'm going to basically like back pocket, So that's kind of where the narrative is, kind of like where the missing context, if you will, allegedly is that, oh, here's the situation that happened. She didn't want it talked about on camera. So that's really what the issue was. And Jen inferred that as her trying to tell her how to talk about something in order to cover something up, when in fact she was just basically coming to her to say, look, I don't want this to be a thing. Like, I don't want this to be my storyline with the situation. So please don't bring it up at all. But
see, but I feel like Jen is such she comes across maybe a little naive, but she's such a sweet girl at her core that it's easier for me to believe she would be weaponizing a cheating scandal versus a harassment scandal. That for Jen, like, if I have to believe that the two scenarios of what went down with Marciano, considering how thirsty Marciano is, he's putting himself on camera, he's putting himself out there. I think if he would have done something that would risk him receiving some sort of, harassment, like some legitimacy to that, because we have it all on camera. I think if there was some legitimacy to that, he wouldn't be exposing himself the way that he is. And I don't think Jen would weaponize harassment, but I think Jen would weaponize a cheating scandal if Demi really wasn't being faithful to Brett.
yeah, I mean, it could be. Listen, we weren't at the villa. I wish I was at this point, because I would die to be in the spaces that they all keep talking about that cameras weren't around for. But apparently there's also footage that also proves Demi's points as well, that hopefully I would think that they would show it at some point if this gets to a point where it's like, okay, like I didn't sleep with him, so can you please show the footage now? But good luck with that.
Know.
I don't
we'll
know.
See.
Either.
I feel like Demi, I don't know. It's not that I don't believe her, or it's not that I don't want to believe her. I just feel like it's too convenient of a narrative to paint it as, well, production and, well, scheduling conflicts and, well, the other cast members are thirsty and are out to get us. I'm like, how are you the perpetual victim in all of this when the footage showed that you aren't so innocent? So if the footage is already showing us that, we're already seeing that you have this side of you. And so I don't know. I mean, and I think the best example of that is when she ran upstairs at the Halloween party and told Brett that Chase put hands on her. Like, she's just already proven to be somebody that, she's proven to be a Blake Lively that can take a small piece of information and exaggerate it and twist it into whatever narrative she wants to fit it in. And then, I mean, even then, on Entertainment Tonight, she still kind of stood in the fact that she felt violated in some way by the fact that Chase poked her.
Yeah, no, I remember that. I actually had an issue with that interview because her wording changed within that same interview around it. She
Manipulative.
So I raised that flag too because it was like, well, wait a minute. Now you're switching it up. That's completely different. You know what I mean? The words are very important. So when you say like he put hands and then later in the interview, you're like, well, yeah, no, he touched me. Like it's like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
It's different. And yeah. But I wonder too, like in that situation, it was very intense too because they're filming. So it's like you don't know. I mean, to be fair, Chase was putting his finger in Taylor's face, so you don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think she's honest. Again, it's not that I don't want to believe her. It's just that her pattern and the history we've seen so far, to me, doesn't seem, and it kind of feels like she really did want to be the top dog. I think in that finale, we saw that the girls were not willing to rally around her. But I think that we saw that in season 1. I think she was a big catalyst as to why Whitney was iced out of the group, which is so interesting to see Demi and Whitney as friends now. I think it's more of an alliance, and they know they kind of need each other to stick around. And so they're just going to lean into their villain arc and do what they got to do to keep in. But she's known for exaggerating things. She's known for trying to control the narrative, as she did season 1. I think her coming into season 2 and immediately planting the seed that Jen is dishonest, I felt like that was a very clear Lisa Vanderpump, let me plant this seed for the audience so that they can think that Jen's a liar, so that should Jen ever bring up dirt on me, it looks like it's not credible because she's the liar, not me. And
But
then now she's not
didn't
showing up at the reunion, and she's threatening to send a cease and desist. And it's like, you don't do all of these things, Denise Richards, unless you have something to hide.
well, Denise actually sent the cease and desist, so
Yes.
they're just talking.
Which, I mean, is a cease and desist really that scary? It just means
No, I
don't
can
say
type.
anything.
You can type one up on your Chat GPT and put a little logo and send it.
All it really means is like, don't say anything, or else I'll sue you if you say anything.
It's a warning letter.
It's a threat. Yeah, it's a warning. All right. Anything else on Mormon Wives you want to add?
I don't think so. I think that was pretty much. I really wanted to understand why she wasn't there. So I'm glad that I got some context. Now, whether or not that's the real reason, that's a whole other story.
So the reason is that she's on a trip. She's on vacation with her mom.
Yeah, it was like a trip that was planned months before with her mom that's not doing well health wise. So they were prioritizing family and wanted to collaborate on moving the date, but unfortunately the date could not be moved from the May 3rd date that was confirmed.
Convenient. But
I was also told though that it was pulled together within like a 2-week timeline.
The reunion, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I said, there was no reunion that was happening going into season 2. I think Hulu was open to the idea more than they were last year. But to my understanding, to the conversations we had, there was no reunion going in. And so this was kind of like well, let's make it happen. And then Nick Viall was just, I guess, the most natural person to go with. But I do believe that if there was a scheduling conflict, I think it was because this was more of a last minute, well, let's kind of put this together. I think that they probably filmed it along with all of Nick's interviews with all of them, because each week he's had an interview with another cast member. And I think that was intentional and deliberate, and to kind of position him as associated to that group. And I think that they probably filmed the reunion in LA. I think that it would only make sense for them to do it in LA. because if his studio is in Los Angeles and we see all of them in studio rather than them flying them back and forth, I would think they would just pick a week, have them all do his interviews with them, tape the reunion, just kind of have it all in one batch. I would think that's what would make the most sense.
I think that kind of aligns a little bit with what I heard. I think they did strategically do it that way, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
That makes sense. All right, let's move on because I also want to talk about Housewives because we have Real Housewives of Atlanta, their reunion taping, and we have a housewife not at that reunion too. So I want to get to that in just a sec. But really quickly, first, I want to give some love to this week's sponsor, and that is Soul. I love going out with friends, but like sometimes I don't always want to drink because I don't always want that hangover the next day. That's why I've been reaching for Soul's out of office gummies instead. They're the perfect little lift to keep you feeling good, keep the good vibes going, give me that light little buzz, give me that nice social buzz without the hangover, because sometimes you just need a little something, right? Soul's wellness brand that believes feeling good should be fun and easy. Soul specializes in delicious hemp-derived THC and CBD products designed to boost your mood and help you unwind. Their best-selling out-of-office gummies were designed to provide a mild, relaxing buzz, boost your mood, and enhance creativity and relaxation. And if you're into these out of office gummies, you can also try their new out of office beverages, which is a refreshing alcohol free alternative, which is perfect for summer sipping. Plus, Soul has so many other amazing wellness products with or without THC, including a variety of gummies and capsules that can help improve sleep, stress, pain, focus, bloating, and more. Bring on the good vibes and treat yourself to Soul today. Right now, Soul's offering my audience 30% off your entire order. Go to getsoul.com and use the code NOFILTER. That's getsoul.com, promo code NOFILTER for 30% off. Let's get it. All right, now we need to talk a little Housewives. So we got a statement. Got a statement this week from who was it? Britt?
Britt Edie.
Britt Edie, who is not attending the Real Housewives of Atlanta reunion. Now, I haven't really been watching Atlanta. I kind of dipped out when Kenya left the show, but I've been loosely following what's been going on, at least in the news. I know we have Phaedra back, so they were set to film the reunion. Britt says that she's not attending the reunion. She's not attending. What was her reason why?
Well, so I'll just be frank. I've been watching straight through, and I have been, I guess, as everyone keeps saying, I'm on her neck. I've been exposing pretty much every lie from her Jumpstart agency, whatever that's supposed to be, her insurance masterclass, to the country club having to file a lawsuit because they never paid. I mean, it's a number of things. So ultimately, there's a lot of things that she would have to answer for. And I don't think she was willing to sit
Yeah.
and do all that. And I think she was not in a good place with any of the cast members at the end.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
I feel like none of them really like her in the end. But so I guess her big revelation though in her latest statement is that she finally watched the footage from Kenya's store opening and she's claiming that the photos were not of her.
Yes.
Which is confusing.
It's
'Cause that
very
was the whole point.
confusing. I've heard a lot of mixed things about what were on those boards in terms of photos. I don't think Britt is just now seeing that footage, because I've also heard that she saw and understood what was on those boards very soon after. So to me, she either knew that that was not her in the photo the entire time and just rode the wave, or she really didn't because she might be like, you know, a brain fart and didn't pay attention when someone explained it to her.
But here's the thing. You know what photos you've taken of yourself in those kind of scenarios.
I mean, listen, there's a website where you can see when someone has filed to take those types of things down. And the laundry list that she has, she's gotten a lot of things removed, is what I'm saying. And so after doing some digging, yes, that's fine. It's her right. She can clear up her image however she wants to. But I think it's unclear how some of those photos landed on that board and what they were actually of, and if she was actually in them. Because now I'm confused as to like how this is even an issue and why Kenya was pushed
Fired.
out.
Yeah. Because at
Well, I
this
don't even
point,
know if she was fired. I really has that even been made official? Like I don't.
I don't know.
It's just
But she's
confusing.
apologized for it. Like that's the part that's so confusing. Is it's like, well, but if it wasn't of Britt, then technically it wasn't revenge porn, then, right? Because it wasn't of her. But then if the photos were available online, then because like my thing, what was so strange about her statement, and for people that maybe aren't watching Atlanta this season or aren't familiar with the show, Kenya Moore, one of the cast members, she wanted to shame or embarrass one of the other cast members, so she had a hair salon opening, and on these poster boards, there were these photos of this other woman, Britt, who's on the cast with them. And they were blurred out, but appeared to be explicit photos of her in some sexual acts. And so it was then labeled as revenge porn. Kenya didn't film again after that episode. And Kenya she didn't do the cast photo. She's not at the reunion. She issued a statement too, apologizing for her behavior and saying that she looks forward to being on Bravo again soon. And she was disappointed that she wasn't able to attend the reunion. So it seems like it blew up, but also who are the photos of and why was it such a big deal if it wasn't of Britt? That's what's so
I
confusing to me.
I honestly think that production was at their wits' end with Kenya last season.
Mm.
And I think they really were hoping that this would be enough of a reason to kind of ice her out. Because I honestly don't think whatever she did at this point was because the law based in Georgia, the laws around that, like revenge porn, all of that stuff, does not align with what she did.
Right.
But that doesn't excuse what she did. I'm not saying like, oh yeah, that's great, like, you know, whatever. But again, it's Kenya. Like, what did you guys? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, she's gone to the producers to say, I don't like this behavior, and you
Yeah.
didn't do anything. So, but
Not
then,
only that, but you really mean to tell me not one other person in that room knew what was on those poster boards? Like all of these, like producers stay 10 steps ahead of what any cast member is planning, that to believe that she did this behind everyone's back and nobody knew and nobody had any idea. That to me is a little strange.
well, how would they not see the poster boards when they're all walking in, setting up stuff? Like, what is this? Like,
Yeah.
oh wait, no, don't show this. You're gonna lose your job. You know,
Yeah.
like, or maybe they wouldn't. Would they tell you that? I would think they would draw a line somewhere. No.
I mean, I think if it jeopardizes a cast member legally, yeah, they would have to intervene. That's why they make sure that they agree to not put hands on each other and they agree to not sue each other. Like they put provisions in place to make sure that cast members are protected. I don't know. It just seems a little strange that nobody knew and then suddenly it's like, "Oh my god, look at what she did." And it like becomes this whole big thing.
But now we're not going to get any answers to anything because she wasn't there. So it's just going to be.
We don't have Kenya, we don't have Britt, and so again, I feel like it doesn't really do the reunion any justice. It's like the season that LVP didn't show up after Puppygate. It's like it was such a flop because it's like that was the most important piece of the show that season. And I just don't like, and similar to Demi on Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, I don't like when the one person that's at the center of all of the drama doesn't show up for the reunion because then it just looks like they're not willing to take the heat.
No, and there was a time I felt like where it wasn't an option not to come to the reunion. I don't know what's been
Yeah,
going
I
on
didn't
lately.
I
It's
didn't
like,
realize now, yeah, because didn't that happen again with another show where somebody didn't show? I feel like it's happening more and more often where
well,
people
yeah,
just aren't coming
Karen
to the reunions
Karen
anymore.
Huger didn't
Oh,
show up to
Karen Huger, yep.
Potomac. Mia left like an hour and a half into the reunion, and
Oh, she didn't stay
then
for the whole reunion?
no, she got up and walked out, and then was done with that. And it's a lot more as of late. It feels like where it's more acceptable for the housewife to wake up on the day of and be like, you know what, I'm
Never
not
mind.
going. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hope to be back on Bravo soon. XOXO.
It's so weird. Yeah.
What?
And then Mia alluding to the fact that she may be joining Atlanta. It's like, I don't.
Please don't. I really hope not.
Was
But at
she
this
bad
point, I
this
don't know
season?
what
I didn't.
Atlanta. She was horrible. She threw her child into the middle of a storyline and made it seem like she didn't know which one the father was, the new guy she was with or the guy she's been with. But she did IVF. So it's like, it's a phone call, sweetheart. It's just a quick, hey, do you remember whose sperm you injected into that egg? Oh, it was Greg. Okay, cool. She let it go for a whole season and the girls caught on. They're like, that's gross. You're using your kid for a storyline. And then she couldn't take the heat at the reunion. So she got up and left.
Oh my God.
So it's like, okay, now you're softies. You guys want to come in and do all this. And then you can't even show up when we actually want to get the answers to stuff.
Gwen says, is Demi going to be in season 3 of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives? Do you know? I've heard she wasn't filming, but then I thought she was.
I've heard she did film.
Yeah.
I also heard that a majority of the beginning of season 3 is centered around the Jesse, Jordan, Marciano of it all. So, not sure how much Demi plays into it. But then again, the other day, really quick, I saw Demi commenting on Jesse's post. So it seemed like maybe they're in a good spot now.
Yeah, I saw that too. I don't know what's going on with them because I know Jesse was also just on Nick Viall's podcast. And I think she said that they're not friends or they're not in a good place or something to that effect. I don't really know.
Those girls, they keep me on my toes.
I know. I just need them to release the seasons a little quicker.
Yeah, they're taking way too long. Like, it's almost feeling like it's The Hills, where it's like part 1, and then you have to wait like 6 months to get.
I hope we don't have to wait that long. I don't want to wait that long. Give it to us like at the latest August.
I heard September, but maybe maybe they will put it out earlier, considering people are they're like fiending. Right. Yeah.
I mean, well, listen, but The Hills did that for like they were filming year round. Mm-hmm. So I feel, and they were getting the seasons out relatively quick, but I mean, The Hills was also pretty scripted, but I just feel like they can do it, right? I don't know.
Oh my God, they have enough. They could probably throw a trailer out for season 3 and air it in August and be done editing by then, because it's like they only film 3.5-4 months at a time.
Yeah, we'll see. Jen's back, right? Officially,
I think so.
Well, because she left midway through season 2,
right? Because she was pregnant, so she probably was like, yeah, I'm not doing this and being pregnant.
Interesting. Did you watch Love Island with Ariana?
It's on my DVR. I have to catch up. Did you?
Are you a Love Island fan? No, I didn't watch, but I heard it wasn't as good as last season. Or it doesn't be as good as last season.
I quickly saw someone ranting about it, but I swiped away because I was like, I want to make my own decision. But I don't know. They're just really long episodes, and they come on a lot, and I feel like
it's hard you have to like
slowly morph into like the Love Island like mentality. It's really strange. It's like a completely different reality universe. Yeah. So I feel like it's very much.
It's a lot to consume because they have several episodes a week and they're long, and it's like you have to commit and you're all in. NextGen NYC thoughts.
I'm not shocked, but it's really wild what Kim.
That was the only interesting part of the premiere.
And now I wasn't going to watch, honestly, because I had no interest in watching something that's clearly a pushed produced situation. But that, I was like, well, damn, I feel bad for her now. I feel like I should watch, give her a little bit more.
I don't know how much she's going to be able to hold the audience. I think that was such a good moment. And I'm glad that they put that into the premiere because like Brooks, I think is kind of a flop. And Riley is a flop. Like Brooks, like the second the producers finally push him to actually do something at the end of the episode and like confront him, and you were upset that he texted this about your sister, and he like couldn't even stand up. Like he was just so that I'm like, that's not what I want to see on reality TV. I want somebody that's going to get activated and engaged and be raw and you know.
Well, and it's disappointing. Look who his mother is, for God's sakes. You can't give me a head tilt and do some crazy hand antics.
Something.
Give me something.
I think he's the most interesting when he's opposite Meredith, but like you can't have Meredith carry his role on the show.
No, I mean, I'm sure she'd love that though.
I'm sure she would too. Have you heard anything about Salt Lake?
Um, uh, well, according to Meredith Marks, going to be a lot of lies this season. Um,
Aren't there
no,
always?
I haven't heard too much other than this whole situation. I think that might arise now with Brittany and the like mother-in-law suing her
Yeah,
for the money back because the ex-husband
yeah.
is also speaking out. So it's just I don't know that those girls are so wild. They can't stick to one storyline for a whole season. It's always like 5 million things going on, but there's always one overarching storyline. So I'm interested to see what that's going to be and how cinematic they're going to make the trailer for it.
OC trailer dropped. I think OC looks great. Miami looks like it's going to be so fucking boring, but OC actually looks like it's going to be a good season.
Yeah, I'm glad that it seems like we're getting a refresh of some storylines. It's not like feeling like repetitive. And we got Gretchen back, which is actually I saw a post yesterday and I didn't even realize it. Like she's the longest gap in terms of like when she left to coming back. I think it was like 12 years. So she's like
Really? Oh, because she had a baby in between and everything.
yeah. So they're like I saw a post someone made and they're like, wow, that's crazy to think about. Like 12 years.
She left, so she was on from season 3 until season 8. So 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So she
10.
skipped 10 seasons, but I don't know what the time period
What's
of
that in
when.
years? Because it only
Maybe
airs
like
once a year. No, right? It's only a once a year season. They don't do twice a year like
right.
Kardashians.
So season 9 premiered in April 2014. So I would imagine she hasn't been on the show since 2013. So 2013 to 2025 is 12 years. Yeah.
Oh,
Right. Yeah.
so they were right. Okay. Wow.
Well, 11,
Oh
12
well,
years. Yeah.
yeah. Some change. Good for her.
I mean, I'm excited to see Gretchen back. I mean, it's crazy. She hasn't been on since 2013.
I'm just look, I'm happy that she laughs at herself on Instagram too, because like people like are like, oh, we'll get to see her without all the Facetune, but like she honestly looks the same on the trailer. It's not like it's that different. No, like,
Yeah.
is it the lighting? I don't know.
I feel like all of them this season, though, have a bit of that pillow face, like just the very puffy.
That
Like,
cast photo rendition, Chat GPT reuse of last year's looks to make it I don't know what that is. It creeps me out a little bit because it's like they're in there, you know that that's who it is, but then you zoom in and you're like, who did this?
well,
And
remember
call me
Jersey
next time.
remember Jersey when they had the same cast photo, but they would change the color of the dresses. 1 year it was red, and then it was pink, and then it was blue, and it's just like posing this way, and then they switch, and then it's posing the other way, and they just changed the color of the dress. It was like what? Like
I
as
mean,
if
it
we
was like
weren't gonna catch on.
10 seasons in, and Teresa's hairline was still at her like eyebrows, and it's like she doesn't even look like this anymore. Who is
No,
that?
or even Margaret in the later seasons when they kept the opening credits the same. And Margaret or Jennifer, her whole face was completely different. I was just
I
like, when are we
know
gonna
they're
have
so
to?
mad. You know, Heather Gay is probably the one that's the most was happy to get like a refresh because she's like, please God, don't keep using my season 1 intro. I don't
Uh,
look like this.
I know she doesn't look inbred anymore.
Wait, are you watching The Valley?
Yes,
What are your thoughts?
it's fine. My struggle with the Valley is I just feel like I don't know who I'm rooting for because none of them are really likable.
I know it's challenging. Like I'm not really. I mean, I like Kristen. I mean, she's like
Yeah,
family at this point. But like outside of that, I don't mind Jesse. Like I know he's a dick, right? Like, but like I kind of like him sometimes. Like I feel like he's
Jesse.
yeah. Like I
I
think he's
like Jesse.
cool. Like I feel like I would hang out with him. Like I would totally like have a good time with him.
Yeah,
Um, but like Jax, I don't think we need on the show anymore. I think it's proven that like him not being there
Yeah, I
is
don't
not
think he'll be back
necessary.
next
So,
season. Yeah.
but I'm interested to see how the reunion goes.
That's the hard part with, like, even when it comes to Brittany, it's like Jax is so unlikable that I want to root for her. But then we're seeing this season, she's also not very likable either.
No, and I'm really kind of like turned off at like the amount of times I have to watch Cruz running around while she's like exploiting his dad in the most horrendous way. Because it's
Yeah.
like, oh, that's helpful.
Right? And her face is kind of hard to look at sometimes. It's just a little too much of the surgery, like her mouth, like because she had the thing done to her chin, and like there's just, and it's too much that she's done, and she used to be so pretty. Like
She
when you
didn't
look
need
at
to
the
do
old,
a thing to her face because she
no,
was actually like, I think now it's too much filler in the face. That's what the problem is.
it's too much filler, and then there's something with her mouth. I think they like tightened something in her chin, which like pulled her mouth down, and so now she has like an upside down Joker mouth, and she always looks
Oh.
like this. And then her eyebrows are so high, and I'm just like, her face just looks like it's being pulled, and I'm just like, I don't like it. Put it back. Just I just want to scrunch her face down a little bit. You know, I just want to pinch it. You know, like when you're on an iPhone and you zoom in, I'm like, nope, zoom back out, zoom back out.
You know who I would, first of all, I would call Heidi Montag before I did anything to my body, face, anything, because that girl's done it
Yes,
all. I'm going to go to her
yes,
and be like, what don't I do? Like,
exactly.
not
And
messing
she did it
around
all.
with it.
She did it all. But I think, but remember when Heidi first came out of surgery, her face was still like it had it fully settled, and it was a little
No, it
crazy.
took a couple years for everything to settle in. But when it
So
did, the shit
she looks
slapped. And I was
great.
like,
She looks incredible. Her lips are starting to get a little like Teresa Giudice-y, that I think if she like tones it down on the lips a little bit, it's great. Because the hard thing with the filler in the lips is it's that hard filler. So then it looks a little artificial.
it looks like you have a straw in your lip. And
Yeah,
it's
like
just like
Teresa
bubbled out.
Giudice's lips look so bad.
I just wonder at that point, do they get to certain altitudes when they fly? Do they feel it expand? Do you
Why
feel
would it, does it
I don't know.
expand?
Doesn't everything expand when you fly? Like don't that's why your ankles can get swollen? Doesn't everything swell up? Isn't that why implants
Why?
explode?
They explode?
That's happened like or implode is when they implode or explode? Like when they burst. Like I think this happened with silicone implants. But
Yeah,
like
nobody's really getting silicone anymore.
what did Kylie get? She got a certain percentage of it under the muscle, some
Yeah.
silicone on
It was
top.
like a half an implant, yeah. Half an implant under the muscle, and like, and her boobs look great. Her body looks great.
Yeah, and people need to stop reacting the way they are. Or they're not going to tell anybody else any more secrets.
Um, Heidi had a chin reduction, so she had her chin sewed down. She had
Because
a
people used to
breast
call her Jay
augmentation.
Leno.
Did they?
That's why she did it. She when she was on the hills, she used to, always get called. She had Jay Leno chin, so she that's why she did that.
Interesting. I don't remember people calling her Jay Leno. Okay, so she had chin reduction, breast augmentation. She had a brow lift. She had liposuction. She had a nose job. She had facial fat injections, ear pinning, and she also got injections in her lips. And she had her back scooped.
This is all in her song, by the way. Great one.
Oh yeah.
It's just the interview of her listing everything she did. And he's like, but you had a
Heck
good
yeah.
body. She's like, now I have a great one.
She I think the thing that she said she did not like was the her ears being pinned back. She said that that was the most painful.
Yeah, I would imagine it would be. There's a lot of cartilage.
Ugh, I know. It just,
Probably hurts to even sleep on it. Like if you're a side sleeper.
yeah, when she first came out, she was super swollen and just looked a little cray cray. But I feel like now everything's really settled and she looks so much better.
And she's having her pop star career that she's always wanted to. So it's kind of full
So
circle.
excited. I can't wait to ride it. No, you like it when you put me on top.
I was an early advocate of the Heidi Montag music.
I loved the Heidi Montag music. Even last year when she released her other songs, Wet Hot Summer, like I feel like we let her flop and we shouldn't have. But then her house burned down and everything was better.
Isn't that the unfortunate thing? You got to lose something really major and then you get a little break. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, here you go.
Jay says we can't flaunt her surgery on socials now that Kylie came out with what she got done.
The amount of women that are going to take that screenshot and to their doctor's offices and be like, this.
She looks good, and Kris Jenner's face looks good. Lindsay Lohan's face looks great.
Anne Hathaway, like, don't
Anne
even
Hathaway.
I'm in the decade or stage of life where these are things that I might need to consider. So I need to go rewatch this
I'm taking
Plastic
notes.
Surgeon.
Lindsay
I'm
Lohan,
too. Apparently, it's the ponytail. It's called the ponytail facelift.
But like, what does it actually do?
It's instead of in the old days, they would just do it horizontally. So that's why people always look flat, and then they would put filler in to bring volume back.
Yeah.
This is like what they essentially do with hairstyles that give people like a mini brow lift by doing a high, tight ponytail. But they just cut at an angular, like a ponytail would go up, and then they just pull the skin more like this, not straight back.
I was talking to my surgeon.
It just looks like refreshing. Like you just like, but they did say CO2 laser is what needs to be paired with that. That's why Lindsay and Anne Hathaway have that like, and Kris also, they're like, it's really odd, Kris Jenner. I don't know if it's the hair and the face together that's making me be like, is she AI? Like, it's weird. Like, it's like not real almost. Like, I want her to go back to the other haircut. Like
the new hair. I don't like the new hair. The new hair is
the baby doll. Like,
the new hair is ugly. I don't like it at all.
It's wild.
I think it's so flat. I mean, do you think she has to do the new hair
to cover scars?
Yeah.
For now. Yeah.
That's the only thing that like makes sense to me is that she's covering something, because I don't think she likes that hair. That hair doesn't look good on her at all.
But is that the only other option, guys? Like, I just don't understand.
Yeah, well, I don't see why that would be. I mean, she can even wear a longer wig, or she can wear a wig that looks like her old hair.
Yeah, that's what I would assume. Well, I guess it depends. No, you could. Her hair wasn't that short. Yeah.
No.
I mean, listen, this is not horrible. There was another picture, I think, where she had a little half up hat with the ribbon bow in it. And I'm like, don't do this with this face now. God, she looks great.
She looks so good.
I want this face. I'm going to take this into like, give me this fucking face.
Well, I was talking to my plastic surgeon. I didn't do anything to my face for 2 years because I felt like I went to a doctor who wanted to do filler on me and just did way too much. And I just didn't like that. And then I did Invisalign, and that like completely restructured the shape of my jaw. Is this the photo you don't like of Kris? This hair?
No, she has it. I think it's a podcast she did. It's like little, like she's wearing Mary Jane's. She's not, but it looks like
she looks like MJ. Yes, you're right.
It's weird. Yes, that's why I think
she talked about. It was when she was a flight attendant, and she's like, "You need to keep your car clean." Yes, it's this hair.
Yeah, I hate this. Freaks me out. This is why I'm like,
is she like MJ?
It's so weird. Her face though is giving, but this hair is like. So but I know it's because they're covering the scars at her hairline as well. So we understand.
It's just the lower and then the top. Yeah, Kim has the scars. I remember people spotted the scars right here next to her ear, and people are like, "Look at that's the." Michelle says she's absolutely using filler. Oh, filter. Yeah, they're filters, yes. But if you see the videos look good. Lindsay and I think Anne Hathaway also look so. Anne Hathaway just looks incredible.
I'm hats off to whoever is doing their faces.
Because she just looks young.
It doesn't look like a facelift. This is why I think, God. All right, guys, don't worry about getting older. This is the future
Yeah, I feel like
of
by the time
I'm
I'm
good.
their age, yeah, I feel like by the time
Oh,
I'm only 32, that like in 15, 20 years it'll be. But no, I have been talking to my surgeon about doing a light brow lift just to like open up my eyes a little bit. And he was like telling me, he's like, oh, and then we do little incisions here. Like he was telling me all the things, and he's like plastic surgery's just changed. Because before it was like you said, it was just like the sides right here, and you just pull it, and then you look like Bruce Jenner. Because then
have you ever
sometimes they would
tried
pull too
to
much.
do the brow lift with Botox first just to make
That's
sure
what I
you're
have
good?
now. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay.
what I have now. That's what I got done because I used to always get it for the brow lift, and then I had noticed since all the and I feel like my filler migrated, so now we're dissolving the filler, and we're gonna do either a lower bleph because one of my friends just got a lower bleph and he looks incredible. Evan from Page 6, virtual reality.
Oh, he
He just
did?
he got a nose job and he got a lower bleph. And I think it looks now that it's all really settling because I was texting him. I was like, what did you do? What did you like? Do you still do Botox? Like I was asking him about all the things.
I
And
want to know all
so
the things
he
because
did the
I
lower
need all the
bleph, which
things.
now makes me want to do the lower bleph because that's why I would get filler. But then the thing and the reason people are stopping filler and like getting all their filler dissolved is it migrates. So it like
Yeah.
moves. So I noticed my filler like shifted and now it's not so much under my eyes, but now it's like all here. And so we're dissolving it. And then we're possibly going to do the fat transfer, which is what Heidi Montag did. She was at the forefront of it, but that was one of the things is she had the fat pulled out and she had it injected here. And it just kind of naturally, you know.
Ugh, I have a laundry list of tweaks.
But no, the Botox brow lift, I think is good. Now, even like I'm actually now being like, do I even want to do the surgical brow lift? Because I just feel like I just needed to open up my eyes a little bit because I was getting that like really hooded look, and I feel like with Botox you can sometimes get that hooded face,
That's what
which I
my
don't love.
issue is with Botox because I make a lot of strong eye expression, and so when they do my Botox, a lot of times they do it in a way where it almost pushes my brow bone down. Even if
Yeah,
I'm excited, I look like I'm angry excited. And
yeah,
so I've had to work. And then I just went on to like a 6 month, like let it dissolve completely so I can see what my face actually looks like. And then let's go back to the drawing board. But it's a tweak. You've got to work with your injector. You
yeah.
cannot just
And
lay
you
in their
need
chair and let them go to like
No,
have at it.
that's when I've had bad Botox, or that's when I've had the hooded face look, is when they just do too much. There are only two plastic surgeons that I've really liked. One is actually Dr. Jen Armstrong from Real Houses of Orange
I was
County.
gonna ask you, was that who you were referring to when you said that you had had some filler? Was that from her? But
No,
no, it's
no.
not.
She had done filler, and I really liked it. And here's the thing that I learned about filler too. I just learned this, is that with filler, they tell you that it only lasts about 12 to 18 months. But then I learned the only reason they say that is because that's how long they've done studies on how long filler lasts in your face. But for me, I got filler done 2 years ago and it's still in my face. It's migrated. And so what happens is people think they're losing the filler. So they go in for more. And then that's how you end up like the ladies of Real Housewives of Orange County with that pillow face, because then you're just putting more filler in the areas that aren't filled without dissolving where the filler has moved or migrated to. And like it can move all over. It can move to the temples, to the sides. And I mean, it usually kind of just like falls because gravity, but like, yeah, that's why I think people are shifting away from filler.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I actually had the same issue because I had like paper cut thin lips, and so my
Yeah.
issue was like I wanted a little bit more fullness, but obviously you get like it's never enough after a certain while, so you're like whatever, and then you realize oh shit this is moving but not evenly. So like one side of
Yeah.
my lip was getting a little fuller, and then this was
Yeah.
deflating, so I'd always have to go in and refix it, and then I
Yeah.
finally just had to get it dissolved as
Yeah.
much as possible to like see what it actually looks like and then tweak. It's I don't know. You got to go to the right people. Don't
Always don't go to
don't
I
you
always tell
group
people
on it. Do not group on it.
don't go to the discount med spas, and if anything, always go to a surgeon that is trained in facial aesthetics. So like Dr. Jen, she's in Orange County, and I was trying to go back to her, and then I eventually just gave up on her because she was like, oh well, my social media guy, he wants to film it and let's do it. And so I was like, okay, well let's coordinate it when you guys want to film it and we'll do it, whatever. And then I don't know, it was just like so complicated. So I ended up just going to the plastic surgeon I used to see. His name is Dr. Deer, and what I like about him is he specializes in ethnic faces. So like, you know, where he'll look at your face, and he was even like giving me a background on, like, he's like, I think your family is from here, and da, da, da. So he's saying whenever I make tweaks, he's like, I want to make sure that we still keep your ethnicity. We don't completely change your face, but we we adjust the little things, you know?
That's actually probably a very important point that people don't talk about enough, is that angle of it.
Yeah, because
That's
there are a
so
lot of white
great.
people. Yeah, there are a lot of white people doctors, and then you end up a little crazy because then the features, like, you get a nice white nose, but if your face ain't white, it's gonna look funny. You're gonna look like Michael Jackson. Or you're gonna look like Jennifer Aiden. You know,
Poor Jennifer Aiden.
I know, that was rough. All right, well, that's our lesson on plastic surgery. I always like to come on here and talk about all of this. That way people learn, because I like when people share things and tips and tricks and all of that. But no, I did really miss Botox. And like now that I have it again, and it's like really settling, and it's opened my eyes up. And that's what I always loved about Dr. Deer. He's the one that I go to here in Beverly Hills. Dr. Deer, what I like is he is so skilled with the brows, where he's like, you have a little asymmetry, that let me inject a little less or a little more over here, and I'll do a little this. And you know, he just knows how to. He even did my neck so that my neck kind of slims out.
Wait, what?
Yeah, you can contour the neck. You can contour the nose. I learned the nose contour from Dr. Jen, because when you do the bunny lines, it softens the skin, and so it kind of just like contours your nose a bit. And then same thing with your neck. Like it softens it, because it's these, well, I guess now I can't, these muscles, I can't move them anymore, but these muscles are constantly pulling, and so it widens your neck. And so, yeah.
Guys, we are walking away with a plethora of things to go further research and schedule on this Friday.
Kelly Ann says, licensed esthetician for 10 years, and I would never recommend filler. Yeah, filler's becoming less and less popular, specifically under eye filler. And that's the thing that I talked to Evan about from Virtual Reality. I don't think he would mind me sharing any of this, because he posts about it all on his Instagram. But one thing, because we used to get under eye filler, and he told me that he struggled with that because his migrated, and then they had to dissolve it all and then just kind of look at it. And that's where he decided to do the lower bleph. And so that's where I'm going to see if I do the lower bleph or if I do the fat injection.
I feel like fat injection has always been the most successful that I've heard, and most natural.
And it's permanent. It's the most natural. Yeah. It's permanent. Your body adjusts to it because it's not foreign. It's just a fat transfer. He was like, we'll find some fat on your body and we'll just move it under your eyes, because I'm really sunken in and hollow here, and that's why I would get filler, and it really changed my face. Dr. Jen did an incredible job. And then I went, and what I like about Dr. Jen is she does little bits. She's like a little bit here, a little Botox, but like little tiny bits, and even filler. She's like little.
Or like a micro filler. Yeah.
And like she says she sprinkles it all over. Whereas the other doctor that I went to just kind of did one hard like incision directly into my cheek. And I was like, oh, that was different from what I remember doing with Dr. Jen. And then I didn't like the results as much.
I always say I appreciate anybody that wants to open up about anything they had done, because I mean, you don't have to, but like I think it is helpful, because so many people have gone the Groupon route for like Botox and come out with a lazy eye, and then, you know, half side of their face is paralyzed for like 6 months, you know, just from bad stuff. So it's like, it's important to do your research and like find someone who actually specializes in what you're doing or what you want.
Yeah, and trust them as the expert. Like, don't just let them, because I've gone in where they're like, what do you want? Do you want just like a frozen look? And I'm like, no. Like, what's going to aesthetically enhance my face, you know?
Do you want to look like you have feelings, or do you want to look inherently cold?
What was it? Deliberately cold or inherently cold? That's what PK told Erica. You're not deliberately cold. You're inherently cold.
That's what it was. Ooh.
All right. Well, I think that's all I got for you guys. But Giorgio will be on stage with me this summer, coming to Philly. He's going to be on stage with me and the bros, the Brav Bros. Well, I guess now they're bros in shows, but they're still the Brav Bros. in Philly. We'll be there together on July 23rd. So you can get your tickets at nofilterlive.com. Follow Giorgio. He's always got the Instagram reels and the TikTok spilling all the reality tea, whether it's Housewives or Mormon Wives, or are you going to be talking about Love Island? What other shows are you covering right now?
The Valley. I'm trying to. I want to do more. I want to cover Love Island. It just scares me. The episodes are. It's a big commitment. It's so.
It
It's so
really
long.
is. Yes, you were just on Stu's podcast.
Yes, and a lot of people are upset. I forgot how
Why are they
triggering
mad
it
at you?
is to talk. Well, it's
What did you
honestly
talk about?
everyone. We talked about a plethora of things, but he talked about the Meghan Markle and Harry releasing the video of them twerking to
with
try
the
to
fake
get her
baby
to
bump?
water. Well, that's what Stu was going at it with. He was like, a lot of people are saying it's fake, and I was like, I had to rewatch the video because I'm like, I also saw people commenting like she has like monitors on her stomach, so that's why it looks like whatever. But then I think he said something like it gets tricky. He said something like along the lines of like, "Oh, I don't think you would be able to do that if you were at that stage of pregnancy." And so there's just a bunch of women coming like, "I worked until the day before and I could still do a squat and, woo!"
Yeah.
So
Look
yeah.
at them.
I'm sure it's possible, but I have heard people say that is a method to try to get your water to break is to dance. So
Interesting. But it was just interesting to me that
came out though.
I guess she was throwing like it was a throwback. But the weird part to me about the video was the timing of it, because it's like, why do a TikTok trend back in 2020, 2021, and then not release it and not publish it anywhere? But like, clearly you have a personality. Like, were you doing it to have a personality then, or did you like? I don't know. It's just all the timing of it is what was so suspicious. And I get it. It was like a throwback to acknowledge her daughter or to wish her daughter a happy birthday or something. But I don't know. The timing of it was weird. Yeah, I always every time I'm on Stu's show, I get dragged for something I say. It's fine. It's usually like Beyonce, or I've been canceled so many times this year. And it's usually from Stu's show.
I didn't even think it was that controversial of a show.
It's not. It really isn't.
Topic, but something about it just is like, F you guys.
So they were mad because you were body shaming her?
I didn't body shame. I don't think we body shamed her at all. I think it was more around the conspiracy on whether or not that was a real baby bump was, I think, the gist of it, which I didn't even realize was a thing. I thought people were more thrown off that she posted that video now, even though, yeah, it was a throwback, but it was like, okay, why are you posting this?
Because she needs some likability.
Leave me alone.
She's relatable. She wants people to know she's relatable. Did you watch Kristen Cavallari's show?
Yes, I fucking love. I love her so much. You have no idea. That's Laguna Beach, man. I remember I'm like, who the hell is that spicy girl that doesn't give a shit? Be friends with her. No, she was wild. It's a good show. I really do wish though she would have stayed in the reality realm, because I do think she's good. Yeah. Reality television, and I think she has a lot of interesting things happening, but I don't know. The podcast series is fun too. Like,
she's a good reality star. She knows what she's doing. She knows how to make headlines. I think it was a smart move. I agree. I wish she would stay in it. I mean, the fact that now we get her kids and she's talking about her dating life, like now she really doesn't care anymore. And I like this era, because she was a little too self-censored, like very Cavallari. She was very censored. Because
of Jay, which became clear was weird at the end. She was fine for production to start letting that out of the canon. But then it was like I guess she just didn't want that to be her whole thing. But like now I feel like she's back. I think she should come back and do more.
Yeah. Oh, all righty. Well, I love you guys. I appreciate you. We have book club this Sunday. So if you want to sign up to become a member on YouTube, sign up for Become a Zack Pack down below in the description. You can get your new merch. 50% of my proceeds will be donated to Home Life Community from now until June 15th. So get your merch orders in before it's too late to support individuals affected by autism, like Tamara Judge, JK. Go to nofiltermerch.com. Get your tour tickets at nofilterlive.com. You can see me and Giorgio live on stage in Philly. Get your tickets at nofilterlive.com. Follow Giorgio. Georgio Says is his YouTube channel. You can follow him on TikTok, Instagram, all the places. So go show him some love, and we will talk to you guys later. All right, ciao for now. Bye.
Bye.